My name is Minbae. I'm the globalist, breathing the world's dreams into the light of cinema.
공연이라는 아주 오랜 세월의 기록이 담겨 있다는 거, 사회적인 참사에 관한 작품이기도 하지만 또 개인적인 트라우마를 갖고 계신 모든 분들께 와닿을 수 있는 그런 이야기라고 생각해요.
나도 점점 잊혀져가는 중이었구나. 아직도 밝혀진 게 하나도 없구나 하는 생각이 들어서 이거는 앞으로 우리가 계속 관심을 갖고 체근을 해야 되는 문제구나 하는 그런 생각을 가졌습니다.
해외에 계신 교포분들도 있고 요게 잘 홍보가 돼가지고 많은 분들이 다 잘 보셨으면 좋겠습니다. 네, 파이팅입니다.
This series is really observational documentary. It actually covers many different aspects of government activities during the tragic moment. When I approach them, they see me as like a stranger. First 2 years, I feel like I'm not really attached to them. A lot of festivals, they ask me why Korea, and also they see Korea as developed country. Why they cannot really reveal the whole truth. I hope this documentary helps those who lost their little one. So the whole film is really about why they failed to rescue them.
We are talking to you, Director Minbae, about your work in documentaries. Documentary about the Sewol Ferry disaster reset was just opened in Korea, but you have your own CACTUS film cinematic production company. You also teach at the University of Windsor. Tell us about the range of your work.
Well, during the academic year, I had to teach. After that, when the semester is over, I usually do the pre-production. And then summer is like best time for me to start the project. Always, I told my wife, I'm like really fortunate to have this job. So it's kind of balanced, to make my own film, also work with the student. Yeah.
That seems like that's like an ideal balance between the two. Yeah. Of course, we're going to talk about your students, but I also want to know about your other works, other documentary works.
Beside the research, during the COVID, actually, I did a short documentary called Qausuittuq.
Is that the one about the northern Canada
it's
area?
Actually, I was 50 kilometers from the pole. We actually have to take a 5 airplanes to get there.
Really?
Yeah, from Windsor to Toronto, Toronto to Ottawa, Ottawa to Qausuittuq, and then we go to the Resolute Bay. Yeah, that was most northern.
And that's really
atmosphere.
almost at the North Pole.
Yeah.
What is it like?
That was the summer, so it's we saw just graveyard have some layer of the snow. We never seen huge iceberg. Well, we saw it really further distance have huge iceberg, but other than that, not much snow up there. We see the climate change, we feel it. That's why I actually.
Was that the major theme behind that documentary?
The climate. Yeah, even though when you're watching it, it's not really saying climate change, but it is actually climate.
It's visually stunning from what I hear.
Yeah.
I only got to see little portions of it, but it sort of shows the stunning climate that we don't want to lose, I guess. Is that?
Yeah, so the initial concept was no dialogue, only the sound, also the lights. That was the concept.
Yeah. And then the rest of the year, you take what you've experienced back to school.
Yeah.
How does that work? I mean, how does your teaching process happen?
Some production, actually, I took a student. So we actually have feature historical documentary happened in Eastern Europe. It's about the Second World War. So we took like 4 master student and 3 undergrad student as a crew. So
really? So
we
the
traveled
students become part of the crew and sort of like a training, like an on-the-job process.
Yeah. So we did like almost like audition. So we actually did some filtering process, and then we hired like student. Yeah, it's a lot of competition actually.
I bet. That is a really great way to teach young people.
Yeah.
But being a documentarian is a difficult process. I've heard. Is it? Why is it?
Well, I think the funding is more difficult if you compare with like dramatic, like fiction, that always attached with actors and more resource. But if you compare with a documentary, the funding opportunities are like slimmer. I think that's everywhere in the world. I'm lucky enough to be in Canada. Canada is like they had to have a certain portion to documentary, so they always have the government grant money put aside to documentary filmmakers.
I can imagine that funds, financing for documentaries are the biggest challenge. What's the greatest thing about being a documentarian?
Well, always during the pre-production, the character development, treatment for storyline. I mean, that was real joy to recreate what was happened. A lot of times that research helps me to bring up more questions during the filming.
So it's very much like investigative journalism in some way.
It's very similar. It's very similar. Even though the production side is different, but I think journalism is very close.
Especially that kind of journalism.
Even how we approach them, how we ask them.
So in the world of cinematography, what role does documentary play?
Well, I think it's now the barrier in between the fiction and non-fiction is kind of merged together right now. Because if you watching even like a Netflix documentary or other documentary, they are become more and more cinematic than before. The audience expectation changed as well. Creative aspect, they are more artistic than ever.
Now, about making these works, I mean, if you made a movie, you can also make a movie, fictional movie, that has social, messages or political messages. But you can also do it through a documentary. What's the difference, you think?
I think good documentarian, like really good one, they could make good fiction as well.
Because you do a lot of this studying and research before you start your documentary. So you already have an idea in your mind about the factual, what the type of message you want. Do documentarians create stories?
Well, we don't want to distort the truth, but I think some sense sometimes we are staging it. because that's sort of contemporary documentary nowadays. So reset the ending scene
Yeah.
when he
walks down
when he
the
walks
hall.
away, that was actually staged. Yeah, I actually asked him to walk away. That's not really distorting storyline, so yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
getting him to the school might
Yeah.
have also sort of,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I mean, you could follow him if he goes, but you could also say, let's go, to the school. I think it's sort of allowed in the world of documentaries.
And also, I mean, once they are engaged, they usually like really giving us input. What's the best?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they become involved in the storytelling
yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like a very interactive type of filmmaking.
It is, yeah.
In fictional films, actors don't
They're
usually
very-
get
very tight, yeah.
they just follow the script.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You teach young wannabe documentarians.
Yeah.
Do you see this as something that a younger generation is more eager to do, or do you feel because of its difficulties,
The
it's
challenge
sort of now?
is they're all in love with the short form, So that was a very.
What's a short form versus a longer form? Where's the line?
Well, they like to they don't like to see the long take,
Well, that's a younger generation.
Yeah.
It's the TikTok generation. Yeah.
So that was challenge to professors who are really trying to teach, what's the cinema verite,
Yeah.
So, but I think when they are really engaged, like when they become third year, fourth year, they understand. Yeah, because we keep repeating the same thing over and over, they kind of follow us. Yeah.
Do you think that the world of documentary will maybe shift toward a more short form? I mean, the TikTok type of documentaries?
I think that will stay as is, but I think it's still longer form. People who want to see more deep depths. I think that the feature length still will survive. Yeah. So it's kind of a different media form. I think. Yeah.
So on that note, what are you working on? This is now May, so you're now finished with your semester at the university. What are you starting working on?
There's two reasons I decide to distribute in Korea. I really want to put like a period. This project is done.
Yes.
So that's why I accepted the distribution deal. The other reason is actually I'm trying to get some possibility to do like co-production between the Canada and Korea. So I have some idea about like Korean entertainment industries. So I did our pre-production right now, and the proposal is ready. So that's my next project. So it actually shows very bright side of the Korean entertainment, also dark side of the Korean.
The pros and cons of Korea.
Yeah, three artists.
Oh, so you follow three artists in their
But
process.
the two, they are very like still like infamous, and one is quite famous. So that's my new project.
Oh, wow, that sounds interesting. And you're finding funding from Canada.
Yes, but I still need like co-production here, so that's my.
Yeah. I mean, and those are the Korean artists that you're going to follow.
Actually, one is sort of, I think his mom is Korean, and then his father is American. Yeah. So I think they recruit from LA, and then the other two is native Korean. Yeah.
When do you feel like you could start shooting and maybe see something?
I'm hoping to start next year. Yeah.
Oh, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And come back when you release that documentary. Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time, and we'll see you back when your next documentary opens in Korea.
Thank you.
And that's it for me. I'll be back next time with another globalist who is putting Korea on the map. Sunji out.